My name is Siddhaya. I was the BBMP Commissioner twice. That was when the garbage issue had got aggravated in the city, and it had made news throughout the country, even abroad. The Bangalore city had had the dubious reputation of being called the garbage city instead of a garden city. We all know that the solid waste management is one of the obligatory functions of any municipality in the world. And like elsewhere, the BBMP also believed in collecting it, transporting it and dumping it elsewhere. We had 2-3 dumping sites. I felt whenever I visited some of these dumping sites, surrounded by villages, it is criminal, rather immoral, to collect so much garbage generated by a city of a population of nearly 1 crore and taking it and dumping it on 1 or 2 places, leading to a very, very miserable situation for the villagers and the people who live there over there. And then began thinking about finding some lasting solutions about handling the waste. In fact, that was when I must be grateful to some of my friends of the civil society. They in fact came up with the idea of the Wake Up Cleanup event.
In retrospect, 3 years ago was a godsend opportunity when actually all of Bangalore's waste for 7 to 10 days was lying up front on the streets for people to walk through, to feel, to sense, to smell. What not clearing it did, and by the closure of the landfills, what happened was that we had to think about why those landfills closed. Why were those villagers objecting? What was the problem? That really raised a number of issues on introspection, which resulted in the need to build consensus around how we now wanted for Bangalore to move ahead. Wake Up Cleanup really was a call that the city of Bangalore had to wake up in order to clean up. And that in its formation, in its thrust, as you can see, is a call for partnership, is a call for the city together to do something. The prompt really for a movement like Wake Up Cleanup was the need to be able to have a partnership, including the government, including the municipality, inclusive of the corporates, inclusive of civil society and the NGOs, inclusive of the Paur Karmikas or our Safai Karmacharis, those who actually are the waste pickers, including press, opinion makers, artists, people who live and use the city. It needed to have the voice of everybody. So Wake Up Cleanup had many modules. If I can say, it was a sum of many parts. And the parts really were so that we could actually have touch points for the different stakeholders the city has. So we had power nashtas, which were morning breakfasts. We had the commissioner every day host this breakfast. So this breakfast was a coming together and sharing of how we could actually partner and what were the principles of that partnership. Why did it need everybody to come together to hear what needed to be done? We needed to understand what the role of the state was, what the role of the municipality was, and what was the role of all the others. And that role was represented through the power nashtas in terms of what was needed. We had workshops, which we divided by generators. We had a workshop which was for apartment owners. What were their challenges in waste? Which are very different to having one which was run by the hospital industry. What is the biomedical and those challenges in waste? Slightly different, I'd say, from the challenges in waste for hotels. We then had schools. Schools and institutions have yet another association with waste because their objectives are fairly different. Their economics are fairly different. And hence, in this way, we had workshops which were driven by what I was calling champions. People who'd shown the way. In every city, you have those conscientious lot that actually lead by doing. We brought them in to be able to show the possibilities of what there was. That was another model that Wake Up Cleanup had. A very, very important segment that Wake Up did was the exhibition. What was the exhibition? Till then, it was impossible to understand that we actually had solutions. That when we are saying segregate its source, that it wasn't something that did not have a way forward. That there were techniques, technologies, products, services that you could engage with to manage your own waste. Whether you were a 1 kg a day generator, 10 kgs, 100 kgs or a ton. And that really brought about the engagement which said, seeing is believing. Yes, we had an entire segment on creative reuse. So we had a waste band, drums made from waste. We had theatre. We had painting exhibitions. We had people selling jewelry made from waste. So we brought in the whole creative, humanizing factor around waste. It's my waste, and I'm proud to say I recycle, I'm proud to say I segregate, I'm proud to say I engage with my waste. So that was another segment that Wake Up had. Bangalore came together to choose a path of segregation its source. Bangalore needed, for all its citizenry, in whatever other hats they wear, to come together to understand, along with the municipality and the government, that the choice the city was making was to segregate, to decentralize, to involve its people and its residents in the management of the waste by them segregating at source. It needed that partnership. It's a behavior change that you were asking the citizens to make. It is not something that could be dictated. It needed something that needed that participation. And that's what we were trying to be able to do through showing and telling and other techniques that we used.
The Wake Up Clean Up Bangalore campaign, I think, was a great call to action for everybody who lived in Bangalore. So the insight that drove this entire thing was, if we could somehow reduce the waste that the corporates give out for BBMP to do something with, we could actually become a very effective part of the solution. We worked as a team. I think it was also a great manifestation of the kind of public-private partnership we desire all the time and we talk about, and this was a great example of that public-private partnership. We could not have done the showcase that we did on Wake Up Clean Up Bangalore without the collaboration, the cooperation, and the very active involvement of the BBMP.
We ran this event for almost 10 days. It was received very, very well by the citizens of Bangalore, received very well by the government, received very well by the civil society, received very well by the corporate sector. That was when we realized that there are solutions available if only every stakeholder, right from the citizen to the corporate to the government departments, is brought on board and made to realize that they have a responsibility to perform. But convincing and getting the citizen on board is a bit difficult thing. In my view, I think it's a time-consuming process. I'm sure, there are quite a few people who realize that they have a responsibility, they have a duty to perform. It has got to be a continuous, continuing effort. And I very strongly believe that the citizenry, the corporate world, every stakeholder put together, and it's a doable thing. We can achieve it, and we can certainly make the city a complete garbage-free city.